Why is this smart car here all the way from Nebraska? Let's find out. This is a 2013 Smart Car Pure is the model it is. Smart for two, you know, 2 people fit in here is pretty much all it is. This thing scares a lot of mechanics. I mean, it scares the living hell out of them. I mean, it's like you're asking them to do open heart surgery or something. This person's all the way from Nebraska because they keep getting told, nope, 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 won't touch it, won't touch it. And they're so easy to work on. I've actually experienced this from other customers who say, as soon as I mention the word smart car, I instantly got the word no shouted very loudly. No, we will not work on those. It's just a Mercedes-Benz. I'll show you some parts on here today, see if we can find something with the Mercedes logo on it. But they're so easy to work on. It's like working on your kid's go-kart. It's so simple. Why is everyone so afraid of a smart car? Because there's an engine in the back and things are all not what they're used to, and it's not like working on Grandpa's Ford Crown Victoria from 1959. So no, I don't want to touch it. Anyways, why is it here? It's here because the blower motor, when you turn it on, it literally shakes the whole dash. We're going to take a look at that and find out why it's doing that. Number 2, the AC is not blowing very cold. We're going to get to the bottom of that, show a little bit of diagnostic work. Also, we're going to check the codes, actually connect a scan tool and see why the check engine light is on and how it has nothing to do with the engine. So without further ado, let's take a look around this thing.
Okay, everybody, don't blink. I think this is going to be a quick review.
Yeah, it's not a very big car. There's the front of the smart car. Looks like any other smart car, really. And there is some little bumps and bruises on this thing. It's not a showroom car. They use it to drive around in. As you can see right here on the fender, looks like a little bit of scrape or something, a small dent going on there. But look at those lug nuts, guys. 3. It's a triangle of lug nuts. Isn't that weird? Only needs 3. But basically, most of the car is taken up by the door. To the front of the door or the rear, there's really not much, maybe a foot and a half, Mrs. Wizard?
It's not very much. It's a very large door.
So it is definitely a tiny little car. And it's a smart car, as you can see from Nebraska. And you might ask, why are there holes in the bumper? That's because the engine's in the back. We'll show you here in a little bit. It's for flow-through ventilation to let some air flow through. Basically all that does. And here we are, just a few steps, Mrs. Wizard, and we're to the other side. Not a very big car. Let's go ahead and hop into the interior.
There we are, ladies and gents, 120,957 miles. And this is going to look pretty nice here. It's a little dusty, which I would definitely anticipate because it's been warm here in Kansas and Nebraska. So I imagine they had to drive it down here with the windows down. So it's got a little bit of dust on it, but other than dust, it's easy to wipe off. Very simple, very plain interior. There's not a lot of interior to the car because there's just not a lot of space here. But we do have one little hidey hole, which is the perfect size for napkins. Love it. Nice and stays closed. As we move down, you'll see we've got, I guess, interesting coin holders right there. I'm guessing you can put some 4 quarters or so in there, I guess. I'm not sure. But gear selector, very easy to use. Not a lot of options because it is an automatic car. Got big cup holder down below. Interesting thing here is that this is where the ignition is. So you push your key here to get that car started. So that's kind of interesting. Do have our e-brake in the center, and they have a little bit of documentation and an ice scraper. As we look at our seats, they are cloth, and they actually go very high up there, almost to the ceiling. So very impressive. Gives you lots of, I guess, comfort. No bolster on the side because it's a smart car. You're not going drifting around corners. That'd be silly. As we look at our floor, they do have nice WeatherTech mats, and oh my, there's a mouse trap. Wizard said that luckily he didn't get in on that side earlier because he said that was actually ready to, snap. So maybe that's their way to deter mice from nibbling on their electronics, or at least the wiring. Yikes. Door card is in great condition. Got a little dust, got a little bit of wear, but for the age and for the number of miles on here, this is presenting very well. As we look at the back shelf, I guess. There's a little bit of space back there. You could actually put maybe 4, 5, 6 bags of groceries back here. You know, you could make it a little bit of a grocery hauler, but nothing crazy. But it looks very easy to open, very easy to, you know, slide things in and out, even though you cannot put people back there. There's no pretend back seat back there. So here we are, ladies and gents, back at our steering wheel with our lovely Smart logo on it. And I haven't seen anything screaming I'm Mercedes in here so far, but we still have other time to look for that when we get the engine bay open. But I want to hear what's going on with this blower motor. Let's turn that key on. Not sure if you can feel that, ladies and gents, but it's definitely got a rhythm to it. Let's turn that off.
So you heard in the dash, it's literally shaking the dash, and we need to pull the blower motor out to see what's going on. So I'm going to get under there and actually pull it out. It's very simple. It's in the driver's floorboard area. It just twists out and comes out. We're going to take a look at it and see why is it shaking so bad and making that horrible buzzing noise. That's one of the complaints the customer has, is it sounds like my blower motor is about to blow apart. So let me go ahead and get that out for you guys.
So it appears that they have used the technology used in most vacuum cleaners.
Yeah, that was actually very quick. It's not hard to take out. It has little, I guess you call them tangs or slots that just twist and pull straight out. It's very simple to take out. But let's find out what's making it shake so bad. I have a hunch that for some reason the actual blower wheel is out of balance and making it shake horrible. Let's take a look together. We'll spin slowly and see if we see any debris or broken blades or anything. Uh-oh. There we go. Take one blade out and the whole thing is out of kilter and out of balance. So the weight distribution on this and the centrifugal force is causing this thing to shake violently. And it probably will only get worse if you don't do anything about it. On speed 1 or 2, you may not feel it too good. On a hot day, when you want full blast, you want the air to blow nice and strong, it's literally shaking the dash. And I've seen some of these where the dash is literally shaking even worse, where 2 or 3 blades are missing. So all this needs is a new blower motor. Now, a person could say just replace the blower wheel, but as you can see, it's just pressed on from the factory, and I think if you take that off, it's probably, you're not going to get the next one to press on very easily. And with 120,000 miles, why do we want to keep using the old motor? Just put a whole new assembly and don't have to think about it again for a long time. Because you know, as soon as we just put only the wheel on, in 2 months the motor will go out. Because it's been running so long out of balance like this that the bushings and things could be shot. And so I thought we had this solved when you replace the wheel. They're getting a whole new motor. Luckily you can pick these up for like $100 or something, 100, I don't know, I'll have to look for sure, but I think they're around 100, 150, depending on if you get name brand. You could probably get a cheap one from China for really cheap, but I'm not going to put that in here and have it go out in 3 months. So we'll put an OEM Bayer brand back in. That will solve this issue. The labor on it, it took more time to figure out what's wrong than to even replace it, so it's probably not going to be very high at all. So the next issue we have is a check engine light. So let's look into that. So I've got my Auto Maxisys MS906 out. Go ahead and turn on the key power. And we'll go to diagnosis. Control unit. We're going to go to the engine control unit because we have a check engine light, not a check ABS light or something else. Trouble codes. The outside temperature sensor has a short circuit to battery, P0073. So you see a check engine light on, you think, oh, my engine's going to blow up, or something's wrong with the engine, but the truth is there can be issues to trigger that light. Actually have nothing to do with the engine. That's the second complaint. We're going to take a look at that when we get the little hood, or whatever you want to call it, off the front. The third complaint is the AC is not blowing very cold. We can take care of those 2 items, or at least diagnose them, under the front hood. So let's get that thing off. A long time ago, probably 3 or 4 years ago, I went to a local shop I'm kind of friends with and borrowed a tool that I didn't have. In their shop they had a smart car being worked on. They attempted to take it on, and they were looking for the engine. And I saw their mechanic while I was talking with my buddy. he just grabbed this and started pulling and broke the tabs and broke all kind of things. And then he got it off and he's like, "Where's the engine?" I talked to my buddy. I said, "He probably shouldn't be working on that car." And he goes, "I know it. I should have never took this thing on." I don't know. It's not that hard. Let me show you how you take this off. It's 2 little clips. That's it. Right here. So you see this little cutout right here. There's actually a little release here. You pull it out like that. Let's go to the other side. Just like that. That releases the 2 latches that are at the bottom of this panel. So there's 2 other clips up here that you don't want to break. So we lift up. That's it. You don't manhandle it like a gorilla and rip it off. There's 2 little latches right here. Look, it spins. Do you remember the Power Rangers, Mrs. Wizard?
I did, but I really wasn't watching them much.
Kind of what it looks like here. Anyways, I'll put this aside. One thing that this customer did that they mentioned on the paperwork, I'm going to honk the horn and I want to see if it matches the car. Let me know what you guys think. Let me go honk it real quick.
Holy crap, Car Wizard, what the hell was that?
That was not a Smart Car horn.
No.
Actually, the customer mentioned they put General Motors 4-note horn, just like we heard in the 70s Cadillacs, the big, long land yachts. This has a serious set of horns. So I'm thinking what happened, there's an outside temperature sensor that's supposed to be right in the location of where the horns were. Let's take a look and see what's been done. Off camera, I took these screws off so we can take a peek behind this panel, not having to take the whole thing off, but it's just enough that we can see kind of what's going on. Let's take a look. We can see 4 big horns and some wiring that they ran, but the outside temperature sensor is nowhere to be found. It should be in this area. Maybe it didn't look important, or they thought they would relocate it and accidentally ran a screw through the wiring. I don't know. I'm going to have to get in there, maybe pull the bumper off and do some serious digging. But now that I've seen some modification happening right in the area where the sensor should be, and it's saying that it's short to battery, short voltage, that tells me something has happened. I kind of have an idea now what's going on. I bet it's just a wire pinched or cut or something like that. And I'll have to get in there and just repair it. It's probably nothing serious. So problem number 2 is going to be a little bit more digging, but I have an idea of what happened with that. Number 3, the AC is not blowing very cold on these cars. In order to even hook an AC machine up, you first have to take this panel off, the Power Ranger shield. I'll show you where the ports are. So here's our HVAC box. It's actually a little round shaped box there, but underneath it, you can see there's 1 port, and below it there's the low side port. It's kind of hard to see, but that's where the ports are. This is our handy dandy Cool Charge RR air conditioning machine. We actually got it from BenPack or Ranger Products. It has been very good. So much better than the Matco one we had. It is so much of an improvement. But I've connected the machine. I don't want to bore you guys with the 30-minute process of drawing all the refrigerant out and weighing it and all that, but I've actually already done it. It's a little low on refrigerant, but not enough to make it just stop cooling altogether. Now I'm actually seeing that problem number 2 has something to do with problem number 3. The air conditioning system uses the outside temperature sensor, which we just showed you is missing. I don't even know where it's at. I'll have to pull the bumper off. That's short-circuited. There's a check engine light on for that, which means it's not getting a signal to the air conditioning system, and it's a little low on refrigerant. So that's where 2 problems actually combine to become 1 big problem. So we have 2 problems on this car, not 3. A blower motor, and the sensors, who knows what's wrong with it, and a little refrigerant, and it'll be back in business again. So we figured out kind of what's going on here. I want to show you guys the engine. So many people see these cars on the road and they hear this about it or hear that about it as far as where the engine is. Let's actually let you guys take a look at one. So these open kind of like a double hatch like this. You go to open the lower part, but it doesn't open the lower part. It only opens the glass. Then inside, There's another little switch that lets the tailgate down right here. Kind of a weird little setup. But underneath this back carpet is where the engine actually resides. Let me go get a tool to get that Torx screw out of the way. So now we'll pull this little string here that they provided for us and pull the carpet out of the way. Then we have a little turn like that. And there's our little 3-cylinder engine. 1, 2, 3. 3 coils. It's a 1-liter, 3-cylinder engine. Tiny, tiny, tiny little guy. Other than being dirty and a little dusty, nothing screaming Mercedes except for this one label. Daimler AG, which is Mercedes-Benz. So they're the parent company. They're actually the company that manufactures these. This is basically, underneath all the skin is a Mercedes-Benz. Now the transmission can be a little bit complicated on these. You know, on some of the Lamborghinis we have E-gear, and also on a Ferrari we have the F1 transmission. It's a very similar situation on this. There's no clutch that you actually push. You just start giving it some gas and it automatically does the clutch for you. It's kind of an automated manual, if you want to call it. They do give some trouble here or there, but they're not that big of a deal. So now you guys have seen that actually the engine sits behind you underneath the floor carpet here. Kind of a weird little car. So now you guys have been introduced to the smart car. We love them here at Omega. We have no trouble at all working on them. We enjoy working on them. Yes, please call us if you have a smart car that's broken. We would love to work on it. We will not be afraid of it. Secondly, I've got a lot of people say, are these good cars? Are they reliable? Or blah, blah, blah. I get emails about them. Yes, they're fairly reliable. They're good little cars. Really, they're designed for big cities like Tokyo, Los Angeles, London, places like that where it's packed in tight. You can really zoom around town in one of these cars and it gets really good gas mileage. I would love to have one of these in one of those really packed, tight, large cities. But out on the open plains in the middle of Nebraska or Kansas, I don't know that there's any benefit to them. They don't get any better gas mileage than a Honda Civic or a Toyota Corolla. And they're way, way smaller. I have seen videos on YouTube, which you guys are watching YouTube, imagine that. These get hit by a semi-truck. It's not so much about the impact. I mean, they actually are very safe as far as crunching or crushing. But what scares me about these is that if they're hit by a very large vehicle, like a semi, it's like kicking a soccer ball. They literally fly off into the median or into the ditch or something. That's what scares me about them on the open highway at 80-mile-an-hour speeds. It's like a soccer ball, basically. So keep that in mind. They really are good in town, in a large city. They can zoom around into places your big SUV can't get to. They can parallel park into small little places. Very, very useful for that. So now I've shown you kind of a diagnostic process. We have more digging to do. I need to pull the whole front bumper off and find out what happened to that outside temperature sensor when they put in these horns. What happened there? So I need to find that out. Maybe I'll let you guys know on a social media post, hey, look, I found it. But I now know the AC and the check engine light are tied in kind of right here in this area, the issues. We'll get a new blower motor ordered. Should be back in business. If you're curious what kind of tools we use to work on this smart car or any other car in the shop, check our Amazon affiliate link in the description below. If you purchase anything, we get a small cut and really appreciate it. And make sure to click the subscribe button here because there's so many more cool videos for you guys. Very informative videos. Thanks for watching.